Hare Krishna, Sadhana, Shapika, Panchakatas,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandut Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavad, Dandavad, Pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Sadhana Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Sadhana. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna, welcome to today's Bhakti Shastri class. We're going to start today chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. All devotees are requested to keep their videos on and not multitask and give 100% attention and focus to the class. How many of you all have gone through this chapter before the class? Kindly raise your hand. Please raise your Google hand. How many of you all have gone through? Honestly, please raise your hand. How many of you all have gone through these today's portion? Today is, I think, till chapter number 50, till sloka number 50. Okay. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4. The name of the chapter is Transcendental Knowledge. Yes, please unmute yourself and repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Imam Vivashvate Yogam.
Imam Vivasvate Yogam.
Tavam Aham Avyayam. Vivasvan Manavi Praha. Ikshvakave Abravit. Yes, please listen attentively. The personality of Godhead Lord Sri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasvan. And Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind. This father of mankind means this is not that pharmaceutical company. Father of all Manusha Jati, Manu. And Manu, in turn, instructed it to Ikshvaku. Purport. Herein we find the history of the Bhagavad Gita, traced from a remote time, when it was delivered to the royal order of all planets, beginning from the sun planet. The king of all planets are especially meant for the protection of the inhabitants. And therefore the royal order should understand the science of the Bhagavad Gita in order to be able to rule the citizens and protect them from material bondage to lust. So it's like there was a training session given to all the royal orders, all the Lokpals of the planets. Just like, okay, take a sadhana. Just like, kabhi, like all the cabinet ministers are called and they're given some training. Similarly, this knowledge was given to all the chief of the planets. Human life is meant for cultivation of spiritual knowledge in eternal relationship with the SPOG and the executive heads of all states and all planets are obliged to impart this lesson to the citizens by education, culture, and devotion. In other words, the executive heads of all states are intended to spread the science of Krishna consciousness so that the people may take advantage of this great science and pursue a successful path utilizing the opportunity of human form of life. Understood? All the Lokpals, they were given this knowledge so that they can pass on. In this millennium, the sun god is known as Vivaswan, the king of the sun, which is the origin of all planets within the solar system. In the Brahma Samhita it is stated, Ya chakshure sasavita sakala grahanam Raja samasta suramurti rashesha teja Yasya gnaya brahmati sambrita kala chakro Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Let me worship Lord Brahma. Sorry, let me worship. Lord Brahma said, the SPOG, Govinda, Krishna, who is the original person and under whose order the sun, which is the king of all planets, is assuming immense power and heat. The sun represents the eye of the Lord and transverses its orbit in obedience to his order. Any question till now? So sun represents the eye of the Lord. Lord says, I am among, like I am the sun. He says in some one Bhagavad Gita shloka that I am the sun and the moon. The sun is the king of all planets, and the sun god at present is the name of the name Vivaswan, rules the sun planet, which is controlling all other planets by supplying heat and light. He is rotating under the order of Krishna, and Lord Krishna originally made Vivaswan his first disciple to understand the science of Bhagavad Gita. The Gita is not therefore a speculative treatise for the insignificant mundane scholars, but it is a standard book of knowledge coming down from the time immemorial. In the Mahabharata, we can trace out the history of the Gita as follows. Treta yugado cha tato vivasman manave dadau manuschalokas briyatartham vityartham tuta iksha kave dadau ikshvakuna cha kathito vyapya lokanavasthita. In the beginning of the millennium known as Treta, the science of the relationship with the Supreme was delivered by Vivaswan to Manu. Manu, being the father of mankind, gave it to his son Maharaj Ikshvaku, the king of this earth planet and forefather of Raghu dynasty, in which Lord Ramachandra appeared. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita existed in the human society from the time of Maharaj Ikshvaku. At present moment, we have just passed through 5,000 years of the Kali Yuga, which lasts for 4,32,000 years. Before this, there was Dwapar Yuga, 8 lakh years, and before there was Treta Yuga, 12 lakh years. Now actually 8 lakh 64 and 12 lakh 96 to be precise. Clear? Clear? Pratima Mataji puja karo. Kali Yuga is 432 and Dwapar means double 864. Treta means 1296 and Satyayug means 1728. 4 times of 432. Easy to remember Satyayuga because every day we are supposed to chant minimum 1728 Hare Krishna Mahamantra, correct? 16 rounds. So that is Satyayuga.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु प्रभु ताहले ये जो गीता के ज्ञान है तो ये सत्ययुग में मानव समाज में नहीं आया था.
Satyayuga Gita ka gyan it was not that this is the only time it was passed on. I repeat, this is not the only time it was passed on. It was always there. But please mute yourself. Uh, आवाज আসছে প্রচন্ড. It seems you are actually riding on helicopter. So actually this গীতার জ্ঞান এটা এমন এখানে ইক্ষ্বাকুকে দিয়েছে ভগবান, সরি ভগবান দিয়েছে বিভাসবান দিয়েছে মনুকে, স্বয়ম্ভু মনু, আর মনু দিয়েছে ইক্ষ্বাকুকে। কিন্তু এমন না যে এটাই একবার দেওয়া হয়েছে আর কখনো দেওয়া হয়নি। ভগবত গীতার জ্ঞান, ভগবত তত্ত্ব সবসময় দেওয়া হয়েছে, অনেকবার দেওয়া হয়েছে, সবসময় ছিল। কিন্তু এখানে একটা স্পেসিফিক বলা হচ্ছে, বোঝা গেল? ওকে, এখানে বলছেন যে ত্রেতা যুগের সময় ইক্ষ্বাকু ছিল, কারণ কি ইক্ষ্বাকু ভগবান মানে সূর্য বংশের রাজা, আর ওখান থেকে আগে ভগবান রামচন্দ্র আসে, রঘু আসে, রঘুর পর কিছু পর দশরথ আসে, তারপর রামচন্দ্র আসে। এই জন্য এই ডাইনেস্টির ব্যাপারে বলা হয়েছে। ইটস নট দ্যাট একেই দেওয়া হয়েছে আর জীবনে কাউকে দেওয়া হয়নি, অনেক লোককে দেওয়া যায়। সবসময় ভগবত তত্ত্ব সবসময় ছিল। Thus, some 20,050,000 years ago, Manu spoke the Bhagavad Gita to his disciple and son Maharaj Ikshvaku, the king of this planet Earth. The age of the current Manu is calculated to last 305,300,000 years, of which 120,400,000 have passed. Accepting that before the birth of the Manu, the Gita was spoken by the Lord to his disciple, the sun god Vivaswan. A rough estimate is that the Gita was spoken at least 120,400,000 years ago, and in human society, it has been extant for 2 million years. It was re-spoken by the Lord again to Arjuna about 5,000 years ago. Can 5,000 years ago? Can't get Dwapar Yuga. There was Dwapar Yuga 5,000 years before Kali Yuga. Now Kali Yuga is going on. Na? That was Dwapar Yuga. And Bhagavan Krishna Chandra, he appeared at the end of Dwapar Yuga. So that's why it's written, it was spoken 5,000 years ago to Arjuna. Boja gelo jinishta? That is the rough estimate of the history of the Gita. According to the Gita itself and according to the version of the speaker, Lord Sri Krishna, it was spoken to the sun god Vivaswan because he is also a Kshatriya and is the father of all Kshatriyas who are descendants of the sun god, or the Shurya Vangsha Kshatriyas. Boja gelo? Because Bhagavad Gita is as good as the Vedas being spoken by the SPOG, this knowledge is apaurusha, superhuman. Since the Vedic instructions are accepted as they are, without human interpretation, the Gita must therefore be accepted without mundane interpretation. The mundane wranglers may speculate on the Gita in their own ways, but that is not Bhagavad Gita as it is. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita has to be accepted as it is from the disciplic succession. And it is described herein that the Lord spoke to the sun god. The sun god spoke to his son Manu, and Manu spoke to his son Ikshvaku. এইভাবে এটা পাস অন হয়েছে। Now, there is another disciplic succession given. We have read that earlier. Please go to the introduction, Bhagavad Gita introduction. Turn your page around. Introduction last page. Please hurry up. Introduction last page. Flip your pages to introduction, Bhumika last page. Can you see there is another disciplic succession given? Can you all see? Can you all see? There is another disciplic succession given in the last page. Yes, what is that disciplic succession? Who's in the beginning?
Krishna.
Bhagavan Krishna spoke to Brahma, Brahma spoke to Narada. This is the Brahma Madhya Gaurya Sampradaya. So Lord also spoke this knowledge to Brahma. Lord also spoke this knowledge to his Shri, yani Lakshmi Devi. Lord also spoke this to Chatush Kumar and also to Shivji. These are the Brahmanic Sampradayas. And also he spoke to Vivaswan, the sun god. Any question from this purport? All sentences understood? बोलिए बोलिए प्रभु।
प्रभु जी इसके एंड में एकदम लास्ट से 4 लाइन में लिखा हुआ है फलता एज अ रिजल्ट गीता को भी किसी सांसारिक विवेचना के बिना स्वीकार किया जाना चाहिए।
गीता must therefore be accepted without any mundane interpretation. Mundane सांसारिक इंटरप्रिटेशन नहीं करना चाहिए। इंटरप्रिटेशन हमको ये लगता है वो ऐसा हो सकता है, ऐसा हो सकता नहीं। जैसे हुआ आया है, जैसे हम लोग को मिला है, वैसे ही इसको समझना चाहिए। उसके दो सेंटेंस पीछे जाइए। Since the Vedic instructions are accepted as they are without human interpretation, the Gita must therefore be accepted without mundane interpretation. The mundane wranglers may speculate on the Gita in their own ways, but that is not Bhagavad Gita as it is. तो उसके आगे वाला सेंटेंस देखिए। Since Bhagavad Gita is as good as the Vedas, being spoken by the SPOG, this knowledge is अपौरुषेय, superhuman. तो इसीलिए भौतिक लोग इसमें दिमाग ना लगाए, क्योंकि ये भगवान बताया है, अपौरुषेय, superhuman.
लेकिन आजकल लोग उल्टा ही कर रहे हैं, अपना दिमाग जरूर लगा रहे हैं इसमें।
अपने उद्देश्य के हिसाब से लोग इसका कमेंट्री लिखते हैं।
जी जी।
Second shloka, it's I think memory shloka, very important. Please repeat after me. Evam parampara praptam. Rajarshayo vidu. Sakale neha mahata. Yogo nashta parantapa. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But, lekin, in due course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science, as it is, appears to be lost. So again he is giving. That's why this knowledge to Arjuna. This science is lost. What is lost? এই যে ভগবত তত্ত্ব দিচ্ছিল তখন ভগবান বলছে এটা আগে দেওয়া হয়েছিল বিবস্বানকে, কিন্তু কালের প্রভাবে সকালে না মাতা এই জ্ঞানটি লুপ্ত হয়ে গেছে। এখন ভগবান আবার সেই জ্ঞানটি অর্জুনকে দিচ্ছে। এখন অর্জুনের পরম্পরা কোনো ব্যাপারে কোনো উল্লেখ নেই, আর অর্জুন কাকে পালন করেছে এটার ব্যাপারে কোথাও উল্লেখ নেই। কিন্তু purport, it is clearly stated that the Gita was specially meant for the saintly kings, because they were to execute its purpose in ruling over citizens. ঠিক না? It was meant for saintly kings. ওই জন্য বিবস্বানের মতো saintly kingকে দেওয়া হয়েছিল আগে। Certainly Bhagavad Gita was never meant for the demonic persons who would dissipate its value for no one's benefit and would devise all types of interpretations according to personal whims. আমি বলছিলাম আগে। As soon as the original purpose was scattered by the motives of the unscrupulous commentators, there arose the need for re-establish the disciplic succession. So, when the interpretation is distorted, then there is a need to re-establish the principles again. So that's why this is what is happening. There is a need. That's why Supreme Lord is speaking this knowledge to Arjuna again. Yes, so it's not that Pratima Mataji that only it was spoken to Vivaswan in Treta Yuga starting it was spoken to, that was passed on to ISKCON. No, অনেকবার এই ভগবত তত্ত্ব সারা জীবন সারা বছর মানে সৃষ্টির প্রারম্ভের থেকেই এগুলো কাউকে না কাউকে ভগবান দিয়েছেন। কিন্তু যখন লুপ্ত হয়ে যায় তখন আবার কাউকে দেওয়ার প্রয়োজন হয়, যখন এখন অর্জুনকে দিচ্ছে। অর্জুনকে দিচ্ছে মানে হি ইজ জাস্ট এন ইনস্ট্রুমেন্ট, আমাদেরই দেওয়া হচ্ছে। 5,000 years ago it was detected by the Lord himself that the disciplic succession was broken, and therefore he declared that the purpose of the Gita appeared to be lost. In the same way, so it was lost, so that's why 5,000 years back he, now Supreme Lord, এক তীরে দুই শিকার, অর্জুনকেও প্রেরণা দিল, at the same time because the Gita knowledge was lost আবার দিল। In the same way, at the present moment also, there are so many editions of the Gita, especially in English, but almost all of them are not according to the authorized disciplic succession. There are innumerable interpretations rendered by different mundane scholars, but almost all of them do not accept the SPOG, Krishna, although they make a good business on the words of Sri Krishna. So how to accept their commentary? Na? They don't accept Krishna as Supreme Lord, but they are making commentary on Bhagavad Gita. So bogus about the commentary. It's a basic common sense. I mean, Supreme Lord is Krishna. Bhagavad Gita পড়ে এইটুকুনি জিনিসটা বুঝতে পারলো না তারা, আর কমেন্ট্রি লিখছে পুরো ভগবদ গীতার উপর। This spirit is demonic because demons don't believe in God but simply enjoy the property of the Supreme. Since there is a great need of an edition of the Gita in English, as it is received by the Parampara, disciplic succession system, an attempt is made herewith to fulfill this great want. Prabhupada বলছেন, এই যে আমি এখন যে লিখছি, this is the attempt. Bhagavad Gita, accepted as it is a great boon to the humanity. For if it is accepted as a treatise of philosophical speculations, it is simply a waste of time. So if somebody thinks that this is a treatise of philosophical speculation, মানে এটা কোনো মানে মানগা প্রভুপাদ নিজের মনে যা এসছে সেটাই লিখেছেন, so then it's a waste of time. No, whatever it was passed on, ওইভাবেই প্রভুপাদ এই গীতার কমেন্ট্রি লিখেছেন, the way it was passed on, the way it was supposed to be passed on. Anybody has any question to any sentence you didn't understand? Yes.
প্রভু, আমি বলছিলাম যে আমরা তাহলে এই গীতার জ্ঞানটা নিয়ে মানে আমরা কি করব? মানে আমরা তো মেনে নিলাম যে ভগবান কৃষ্ণ, এটা আমরা অ্যাকসেপ্ট করে নিলাম, বাট আমরা আর কি মানে কেন গীতাটা পড়বো? আর এই জ্ঞানটা নিয়ে আমরা কিভাবে ইউটিলাইজ করবো? আবার
this is the manual of the life. If you're living a life, you should know the manual. If you're using a product, you should know the manual. This is the life manual. This is like the rules and regulations of how you should live, what you should eat, what you should not eat, who should you mix, who should you not mix, how you should lead a life. Everything is given clearly. Varnashram, Vaishnava, সব কিছু জানতে পারবেন। That's why this is the hour of the need for everybody to know Gita. Say, if you go to any country, before going to that country, you usually browse what are the rules and regulations of that country, right side driving, left side driving, everything. Similarly, when you are living in this material world, which has been created by Supreme Lord, one should know how to live in the material world through the manual. I mean, a person who has not read the Bhagavad Gita is at very big risk because he will be using his own intelligence. We don't use our intelligence, we use whatever we have been instructed by the Lord. ভগবান বলছেন পাত্রম পুষ্পম ফলম তৈয়ম ইয়মে ভক্তা প্রয়াচ্ছতি, তো আমরাও যেটা ভগবান গ্রহণ করেন এটাই আমরা গ্রহণ করি। যেটা ভগবান এটা যদি না বলতেন, then we would have used our head. मन में जो आता है वही शिवंकर प्रभु।
হরে কৃষ্ণ প্রভু, এখানে প্রভুপাদ লিখছে there are innumerable interpretation rendering by different mutant scholar, but able interpretation rendered by different mutant scholar, but most of them do not accept supreme personality of Godhead. তো যখন আমরা প্রচার করতে যাই তো ভগবত গীতা, তখন বলে আমার কাছে ভগবত গীতা আছে এই অমুক মঠের বা মিশনে। তো তাকে বোঝাবো কি করে যে আমাদের এই ভগবত গীতা এটা কোনো মানে মিস ইন্টারপ্রিটেশন নেই, মন গড়া কোনো কথা নেই, সেটা বোঝাবো কি করে? এটা অনেক সময় আমাদের মানে বোঝাতে অসুবিধা হয় প্রচারে যাই।
হ্যাঁ, তো এইভাবে বোঝাতে পারেন, একটা উদাহরণ দিয়ে বোঝাতে পারেন। যেমন আমরা যখন যেমন ভগবান বলছেন, একটা উদাহরণ দিলে ভালো হয় যে কর্ম কিয়ে যাও ফল কি আশা মত করো, কর্মণ্যবাধিকারস্তে মা ফলেষু কদাচনা। এই শ্লোকটা অনেক 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 বিজনেসম্যান পলিটিশিয়ানরা ভগবত গীতার ওপর অনুবাদ ভাষ্য লিখেছেন। তারা এই শ্লোকটাকে ইউজ করে এইভাবে যে কার্য করতে থাকো, কার্যকলাপ করতে থাকো, টাকা পয়সার চিন্তা করো না, অ্যাপ্রেজালের চিন্তা করো না। this is the most common motivational shloka used by business tycoons in their workshop to motivate the staffs. When staffs are demanding a hike in their salary and bonus, etc. So, कर्म किए जाओ, भगवान भगवत गीता में बोले फल की आशा मत करो, that's very bad. किंतु कर्म किए जाओ और आगे देखते হবে भगवान कर्म के डिफाइन করছেন अकर्मा। अकर्मा करना चाहिए, विकर्मा नहीं करना चाहिए। अकर्मा means work in devotional service. So the Lord is hinting work in devotional service, not the work, mundane work which we do in office, etc. Or even if we do work in office or business, but if we are surrendering the fruits of those work to the Lord, that work is akarma, and that is what Lord is referring to, not any mundane work. তো আগে পিছে সব শ্লোকগুলো দেখে তারপর এটাকে জাজমেন্ট করা উচিত। সো দিস ইজ লাইক একটা ভাষ্য যেটা লোকে লিখছেন ফর देयर ओन পার্সোনাল মোটিভ, বাট দ্য বেসিক ক্রাইটেরিয়া এটা বলতে পারেন আপনি, দ্য বেসিক ক্রাইটেরিয়া কে লিখতে পারে ভগবত গীতার ভাষ্য? দ্য বেসিক ক্রাইটেরিয়া হি শুড বি আ ডিভোটি অফ দ্য লর্ড। সি প্রভুপাদ, হু হ্যাজ রিটেন দ্য purport of Bhagavad Gita, he has lived entirely as a Vaishnava, born in a Vaishnava family, lived in a Vaishnava throughout life, and he has preached all over the world. So his interpretation is most applicable. Show me another person like Prabhupada who has written the commentary of Bhagavad Gita. বলবেন ওনাদেরকে, একজনকে দেখান, আর একজনকে দেখান যে ভগবত গীতার পারপোর্ট লিখেছে আর যার জীবন ছিল প্রভুপাদের মতো। তো ওই বলে না ওনার অধিকার আছে লেখা, he has the audacity, ওনার অধিকার আছে এই গীতার উপর কমেন্ট্রি লেখার। এইভাবে বোঝাতে হবে। শ্লোকা নম্বর 3, স এবায়ম মায়াতে অদ্য যোগ প্রোক্ত পুরাতনা
योगा प्रोक्ता पुरातनः
ভক্তসি মে সখা চেতি
भक्ति में सखा चेति
রহস্যম হি এতদুত্তমম। That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. ওই জন্য আপনাকে বলেছি, ভগবান বলছেন, শ্রীকৃষ্ণ অর্জুনকে বলছেন, তুমি বুঝতে পারবে ওই জন্য। Purport: there are two classes of men, namely the devotee and the demon. The Lord selected Arjuna as the recipient of this great science because owing to his being a devotee of the Lord. But for the demon, it is not possible to understand this great mysterious science. Therefore, there are a number of editions of this great book of knowledge. Some of them have commentaries by the devotees and some of them have commentaries by the demons. Commentation by the devotees is real, whereas that of the demons is useless. তো দেখুন শুভঙ্কর প্রভুপাদ এটাও বলছেন যে ভক্তদের কমেন্ট্রি রিয়েল, শুধু বলছেন না যে আমার কমেন্ট্রি রিয়েল, কারণ কি এই ভগবত গীতার কমেন্ট্রি ওনার গুরুদেবও লিখেছেন। গৌড়ীয় মঠেও কিন্তু কমেন্ট্রি পাবেন মুক্তি সিদ্ধান্ত সরস্বতী প্রভুপাদ, বলদেব বিদ্যাভূষণও লিখেছেন, অন্য আচার্যরাও লিখেছেন। এমন না যে প্রভুপাদ বলছে শুধু আমারটাই পড়ার কারোর পড়ুন, এরকম করে বলছেন। এখানে তো ক্লিয়ারলি লিখেছেন, বলছেন প্রভুপাদ দেখুন, there are number of commentaries by commentation of by the devotees is real, and whereas that of the demons is useless. Arjuna accepts Shri Krishna as the SPOG, and any commentary of the Gita following in the footsteps of Arjuna is real devotional service to the cause of this great science. The demoniac, however, do not accept Lord Krishna as he is. Instead, they concoct something about Krishna and mislead general readers from the path of Krishna's instruction. Here is a warning about such misleading path. One should try to follow the disciplic succession from Arjuna and thus be benefited by this great science of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Ankita Mataji, দেখুন কোনো সেন্টেন্স যেটা বোঝা যাচ্ছে না from the purport. Please take 30 seconds, everybody, and go through the purport. I'm reading the translation again. That very ancient science of relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. So অনেক লোকে বলতে পারে why Krishna chose a devotee to tell this knowledge. Why didn't he take a non-devotee? The thing is, he would have asked. That's why I gave the example the other day that for a drama, if we need a drunken role, we don't take drunken person usually, because we don't know what role he will do there in the stage. So that's why we take a conditioned soul. We take a good devotee, but he acts like a conditioned soul. Similarly, Arjuna is one of the Pandavas, and Pandavas are greatest of devotees of Lord Krishna. But here he is acting like bewildered. Actually, he is not acting, he is bewildered, because there has been Mahamaya avran on Arjuna. Bhagwan जानबूझ के महामाया आवरण दिए Arjuna को. That's why he is behaving, he is acting bewildered. Actually, Arjuna is not bewildered. He is acting bewildered, and because he is acting bewildered, that's why he is asking these questions. That's why we are having an interview kind of a thing between Arjuna and Krishna. Entire Bhagavad Gita is like an interview. Arjuna giving questions and Supreme Lord answering them. Sloka number 4. Arjuna Vacha.
Arjuna Vacha.
See, again Arjuna is posting a question in this sloka. Aparam bhavato janma.
Param bhavato janma.
Param janma vivashvata.
Param janma vivasvata.
Ammetad vijanayam.
Katham vijanayam.
Amado proktavam iti. Arjuna said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. Because Krishna came in Dwapar Yuga, end of Dwapar Yuga, and Treta Yuga, this knowledge was spoken to Ikshvaku, and Ikshvaku heard it from his father Manu. Manu had heard it from Vivaswan. So sun god is elder to you. You are not born then. How you are saying that you know this knowledge? You gave it to Vivaswan. Sun god, when sun god was born, you were not born only. This is his logic, Arjuna's. The sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you had instructed the science to him? Purport. Arjuna is an accepted devotee of the Lord. But see, now clearly from this translation you can understand Arjuna is acting bewildered. It's very simple thing. That Supreme Lord is Anadir Adir Govinda. How can sun god be elder to him. But he is acting bewildered. Clearly, you can understand. Purport. Arjuna is an accepted devotee of the Lord, so how could he not believe Krishna's words? The fact is that Arjuna is not inquiring for himself, but for those who do not believe in this SPOG, or the demons who do not like the idea that Krishna should be accepted as SPOG. I'll give another example. At times, say we are having a class, Bhagavatam class, okay? Now, say Maharaj came to my Bhakti Vriksha. Maharaj came to my Bhakti Vriksha. Maharaj gave a pravachan for 1 hour. There are 40 devotees attending the pravachan. At the end of the pravachan, Maharaj asked, please ask if there is any question. Unfortunately, nobody is asking question. It happens at times, correct? So then what happens? I ask Maharaj, what is the difference between demigods and Krishna? Now I am asking Maharaj, it's not that I don't have the answer or I don't know the answer. But I ask so that when Maharaj will answer that question, the crowd will benefit. Similarly, here Arjuna is asking Krishna this question because we will benefit. For them, only Arjuna inquires on this point, as if he were himself not aware of SPOG or Krishna. As it will be evident from the 10th chapter, Arjuna knew perfectly well that Krishna is the SPOG, the fountainhead of everything, and the last word in transcendence. Of course, Krishna also appeared as the son of Devaki on this earth. How Krishna remained the same SPOG, the eternal original person, is very difficult for an ordinary man to understand. Therefore, to clarify this point, Arjuna put this question before Krishna so that he himself could speak authoritatively. Understood? এমন প্রশ্ন করলেন যে ভগবান একদম অথরিটি নিয়ে এবার উত্তর দেবে পরের শ্লোক থেকে। That Krishna is the supreme authority is accepted by the whole world, not only at present but from time immemorial. And the demons also reject him. Anyway, since Krishna is the authority accepted by all, Arjuna put this question before him in order that Krishna would describe himself without being depicted by demons, who always try to distort him in a way understandable to the demons and their followers. It is necessary that everyone, for his own interest, know the signs of Krishna. Therefore, when Krishna himself speaks about himself, it is auspicious for all the world. To the demons, such explanations by Krishna himself may appear to be strange, because the demons always study Krishna from their own standpoint. But those who are devotees heartily welcome the statements of Krishna when they are spoken by Krishna himself. The devotees will always worship such authoritative statements of Krishna because they are always eager to know more and more about him. The atheists who consider Krishna an ordinary man may in this way come to know that Krishna is superhuman, that he is Satchitananda Vigraha, the eternal form of bliss and knowledge, and he is transcendental, and that he is above the dominations of the modes of material nature and above the influence of time and space. A devotee of Krishna like Arjuna is undoubtedly above any misunderstanding of the transcendental position of Krishna. Arjuna's putting this question before the Lord is simply an attempt by a devotee to defy the atheistic attitude of persons who consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being, subject to the modes of material nature. Any sentence? এটা বোঝা গেল না? Vishwara Prabhu, Abhishek Prabhu.
ठीक है प्रभु।
So now Arjuna has put a question. Now Supreme Lord will answer. Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Bhumi me vyatitani
Bhumi Vyatitani
Janmani tava Arjuna
Janmani Tava Arjuna
Anyaham Veda Sarvani
सर्वाणि
त्वं वित्थ परन्तप
नाहं वेत्थ परन्तपः
Yes, Vishwati Prabhu. Please read slowly.
The personality of Godhead said, "Many, many births both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot. I, subduer of the enemy. O subduer of the enemy." Purport. In the Brahma Samhita 5.33, we have information of many, many incarnations of the Lord. It is stated there, Advaitam
Da, 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 da.
Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Addam Purana Purusham Nava Yovanam Cha Vedesu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto Govindam Adipurusham Tam Aham Bhajami.
Very nice.
I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who is the original person, absolute, infallible, without beginning. Although expanded into unlimited forms, he is still the same original, the oldest, and the
Great.
person always appearing as a fresh youth.
Okay, continue.
Such eternal, blissful, all knowing forms of the Lord are usually not understood by even the best Vedic scholars, but they are always manifest to pure, unalloyed devotees.
Okay. Now, my question to you is, there is a purpose behind everything. Prabhupada is quoting this shloka from Brahma Samhita, Shubhankar Prabhu. Why? What is the topic going on? What Prabhupada wants to prove? It is not necessary that everything given in the shloka is necessary for the topic.
Prabhu, I think that Prabhupada want to tell us that Lord has not an ordinary person like he has taken.
No. Anybody else? Yes, Pratima Mataji.
হরে কৃষ্ণ প্রভু। প্রভু ব্রহ্মাজি হচ্ছেন স্বয়ং বুদ্ধি দিয়ে তৈরি, তো যিনি যে বুদ্ধি সম্পন্ন।
No. এখন টপিক চলছে যে ভগবান আগেও ছিল, সবসময় ছিল, অনাদিরাদির গোবিন্দা। ওই জন্য এটা এই শ্লোকটা কোট করেছি। ভেরি সিম্পল। হোয়াট ইজ দ্য টপিক গোয়িং অন? অর্জুনের প্রশ্ন দেখুন, ভগবানের উত্তর দেখুন, আর প্রভুপাদ ভগবানের উত্তরটাকে সাপোর্ট করার জন্য ব্রহ্ম সংহিতা থেকে একটা শ্লোক কোট করে দিয়েছে। বোঝা গেল? ভগবান বলছে এমন না যে আমি এখন আছি আর আগে ছিলাম না, আমি আগেও ছিলাম, সবসময় ছিলাম, আমিও ছিলাম, তুমিও ছিলে, কারণ কি আত্মার মৃত্যু হয় না। বোঝা গেল? ওই জন্য ভগবান প্রভুপাদ ওটাকে সাপোর্ট করার জন্য ব্রহ্ম সংহিতাতে কোট করেছে। অদ্বৈতম অচ্যুতম অনাদিম অনাদিম অনন্ত রূপম অনাদিমম অনাদিম। আবার নিচে লেখা আছে গোবিন্দম আদি পুরুষম আদি পুরুষম। তো দিস দরকার নেই যে প্রত্যেক শ্লোকের মানে পুরো জিনিসটাই দরকার হবে, কিন্তু ওই প্রাসঙ্গিক থাকলে ওই শ্লোকটাকে কোট করা হয় ইউজুয়ালি। ওকে, it is also stated in Brahma Samhita, Ramadimurtishu kalani amena tishthan nana avatarama karot bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swayam samabhavat paramapumayo govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship the SPOG Govinda, who is always situated in various incarnations as Rama, Krishna, and many sub-incarnations as well. But who is the original SPOG known as Krishna and who incarnates personally also? কেন এই শ্লোকটা কোট করেছেন প্রভুপাদ? কোন পোরশনটার জন্য কেউ বলতে পারবেন?
ভগবান বিভিন্ন অবতারের রূপে মানে অবতীর্ণ হলেও এই কৃষ্ণের যে রূপটা সেটাই হচ্ছে তার আদি স্বরূপ, মানে গোপাল বালক রূপে তার অবতীর্ণ হয়েছেন এখানে, কলা হিসেবে নয় বা তার অংশ হিসেবে নয়।
Yes, Krishna swayam samabhavat paramapumamyo. কৃষ্ণ সমাবাদ পরমাম পুরমাই, মানে একদম অরিজিনাল কৃষ্ণাই, কিন্তু সব বাকিগুলো সব অবতার বা কলা বা অংশ বা কলা, কলাকে অংশ বলে, অংশের অংশকে কলা বলা হয়, কিন্তু ভগবান অরিজিনাল কিন্তু কৃষ্ণ। কেন বলছেন এটা? কারণ কি অর্জুন প্রশ্ন করেছিল না, আরে ভাই তুমি তো এখনই জন্মেছো, বিবস্বান্ত তোমার চেয়ে অনেক বড় বয়সে। তো যেমন কখনো লাইক to prove a point the lawyers give examples of other case studies, then to prove a point according to the Madras High Court versus Shakila Bibi, in the verdict this was stated. Similarly, to prove a point, the devotees quotes shlokas from other scriptures. This is what is happening. Prabhupada is doing the same. In the Vedas also it is said, please continue.
In the Vedas also, it is said that the Lord, although one without a second, manifests himself in innumerable forms. He is like the Vaidurya stone, which changes color yet still remains one. All those multiforms are understood by the pure, unalloyed devotees, but not by a simple study of the Vedas. Vedesu durlabham adurlabham atma bhakto. Devotees like Arjuna are constant companions of the Lord. And whenever the Lord
वैद्यूरिया मनीटा বোঝা গেল তো? মনিটা ওই কিন্তু আলাদা আলাদা কালার এমিনেট করে। ভগবান শ্রীকৃষ্ণই, বিকজ বাট হি ইজ ইন ডিফারেন্ট ফর্ম। রামাজি মূর্তি সু अलग अलग, রামা, নরসিংহ, বরাহ। Continue please.
Devotees like Arjuna are constant companions of the Lord, and whenever the Lord incarnates, the associate devotees also incarnate in order to serve the Lord in different capacities. Arjuna is one of these devotees, and in this verse, it is understood that some millions of years ago, when Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to the sun god Vivaswan, Arjuna, in a different capacity, was also present. But the difference between the Lord and Arjuna is that the Lord remembered the incident, whereas Arjuna could not remember. That is the difference between the part and parcel living entity and the Supreme Lord. Although Arjuna is addressed herein as the mighty hero who could subdue the enemies, he is unable to recall what had happened in his various past births. Therefore, a living entity, however great he may be, in the material estimation can never equal the Supreme Lord. Anyone who is a constant companion of the Lord is certainly a liberated person, but he cannot be equal to the Lord. The Lord is described in the Brahma Samhita as infallible, Achyuta, which means that he never forgets himself even though he is in material contact. Therefore, the Lord and the living entity can never be equal in all respects, even if the living entity is as liberated as Arjuna. Although Arjuna is a devotee of the Lord, he sometimes forgets the nature of the Lord, but by the divine grace of our devotee can at once understand the infallible condition of the Lord, whereas a non-devotee or a demon cannot understand this transcendental nature. Consequently, these descriptions in the Gita cannot be understood by demonic brains. Krishna remembers acts which were performed by him millions of years before, but Arjuna could not, despite the fact that both Krishna and Arjuna are eternal in nature. We may also note herein that a living entity forgets everything due to his change of body, but the Lord remembers because he does not change his Satchit Ananda body. He is Advaita, which means there is no distinction between his body and himself. Everything in relation to him is spirit, whereas the conditioned soul is different from his material body. And because the Lord's body and the self are identical, his position is always different from that of the ordinary living entity, even when he descends to the material platform. The demons cannot adjust themselves to this transcendental nature of the Lord, which the Lord himself explains in the following verse.
Clear every sentence?
প্রভু পরন্তপা কথাটার মানে
কি বললেন আরেকবার বলুন।
পরন্তপা মানে
কোথায় পেলেন?
মিনিং অফ পরন্তপা।
হ্যাঁ, কোথায় পেলেন?
শ্লোকেই আছে তো। ভগবান যখন অর্জুনকে পরন্তপা হিসেবে সম্বোধন করছেন।
ওয়ার্ড টু ওয়ার্ড ট্রান্সলেশন দেখুন।
শত্রু দমনকারী, পরন্তপ মানে হে শত্রু দমনকারী।
Subduer of the enemy. এখানে মাঝখানে একবার বলা হয়েছিল যে although Lord is being Arjuna is being addressed as, কোথায় গেল জিনিসটা?
ভগবান যখন সূর্যদেব বিভীষণকে জ্ঞান দিচ্ছিলেন,
No, 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 no. Although Arjuna is a devotee of the Lord, he sometimes forgets the nature of the Lord. He is called Parantapa, subduer of the enemies, মানে যে দমন করতে পারে, something like অরিন্দম। অরিন্দম শব্দটি অর্থ জানেন? যে অরিকে দমন করতে পারে, মানে অরি মানে শত্রু, শত্রুকে দমন করতে পারে। কিন্তু কখন মানে এত ফেমাস, কিন্তু তাও কখন কখন সে ভুলে যায়, এটাই বলা হচ্ছিল এখানে। দেখুন মাঝখানে দেওয়া আছে, although Arjuna is a devotee of the Lord, he sometimes forgets the nature of the Lord, but by the divine grace of a devotee can at once understand the infallible condition of the Lord. Okay, so Parantapa means subduer of the enemy. Good. Sloka number 6.
Shloka number 6.
Ajo api san avyatma, সবাই বলুন।
আজো অপি অব্যাত্মা
ভূতানাম ঈশ্বরো api san
ভূতানামীশ্বর অপি সন
prakritim swam adhisthaya
Prakritim
প্রকৃতিম
swam
স্বাম
sambhavamyatmamayaya.
Sambhavamyatmaya.
Yeah, please continue, Prabhu.
Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Purport. The Lord
So
was
Lord is unborn, also soul, also his part and parcels are also unborn. He is Ajanma, আমরাও কিন্তু Ajanma. He doesn't have, he is Anadiradir Govinda, আমরাও কিন্তু Anadiradir. আমাদের কিন্তু কোনো we don't have any birth date as such, because we are part and parcel of him. Is it clear? Now maybe this body is taking birth through a womb of a mother, so we have date of birth in our birth certificate. But we are part and parcel. Soul is part and parcel of super soul. And if super soul is unborn, so automatically soul also is unborn. Continue.
Purport. The Lord has spoken about the peculiarity of his birth. Although he may appear like an ordinary person, he remembers everything of his many, many past births, whereas the common man cannot remember what he has done even a few hours before. If someone is asked what he did exactly at the same time one day earlier, it would be very difficult for a common man to answer immediately. He would surely have to dredge his memory to recall what he was doing exactly at the same time one day before. And yet, men often dare claim to be God or Krishna. One should not be misled by such meaningless claims. Then again, the Lord explains his Prakriti or his form. Prakriti means nature as well as Swarupa, or one's own form. The Lord says that he appears in his own body. He does not change his body as the common living entity changes from one body to another. The conditioned soul may have one kind of body in the present birth, but he has a different body in the next birth. In the material world, the living entity has no fixed body but transmigrates from one body to another. The Lord, however, does not do so. Whenever he appears, he does so in the same original body, by his internal potency. In other words, Krishna appears in this material world in his original eternal form, with two hands holding a flute. He appears exactly in his eternal body, uncontaminated by this material world. Although he appears in the same transcendental body and is Lord of the universe, it still appears that he takes his birth like an ordinary living entity. And although his body does not deteriorate like a material body, it still appears that Lord Krishna grows from childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth. But astonishingly enough, he never ages beyond youth. At the time of the Battle of Kurukshetra, he had many grandchildren at home, or in other words, he had sufficiently aged by material calculations. Still, he looked just like a young man, 20 or 25 years old. We never see a picture of Krishna in old age because he never grows old like us. Although he is the oldest person in the whole creation, past, present, and future, neither his body nor his intelligence ever deteriorates or changes. Therefore, it is clear that in spite of his being in this material world, he is the same unborn, eternal form of bliss and knowledge, changeless in his transcendental body and intelligence. Factually, his appearance and disappearance are like the sun's rising, moving before us and then disappearing from our eyesight. When the sun is out of sight, we think that the sun is set, and when the sun is before our eyes, we think that the sun is on the horizon. Actually, the sun is always in its fixed position, but owing to our defective, insufficient senses, we calculate the appearance and disappearance of the sun in the sky. And because Lord Krishna's appearance and disappearance are completely different from that of any ordinary common living entity, it is evident that he is eternal, blissful knowledge by his internal potency, and he is never contaminated by material nature. The Vedas also confirm that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unborn, yet he still appears to take his birth in multi manifestations. The Vedic supplementary literatures also confirm that even though the Lord appears to be taking his birth, he is still without change of body. In the Bhagavatam, he appears before his mother as Narayana with four hands and the decorations of the six kinds of full opulences. His appearance in his original eternal form is his causeless mercy, bestowed upon the living entities so that they can concentrate on the Supreme Lord as he is and not on mental concoctions or imaginations, which the impersonalist wrongly thinks the Lord's forms to be. The word Maya or Atma Maya refers to the Lord's causeless mercy according to the Vishwakosha dictionary. The Lord is conscious of all of his previous appearances and disappearances. But a common living entity forgets everything about his past body as soon as he gets another body. He is the Lord of all living entities because he performs wonderful and superhuman activities while he is on this earth. Therefore, the Lord is always the same absolute truth and is without differentiation between his form and self or between his quality and body. A question may now be raised as to why the Lord appears and disappears in this world. This is explained in the next verse. Yada yada hi dharmasya
Next second,
gla-
Panditji. Hmm. Yes. Hmm. He's actually flying. Anybody else? Any question? Okay. So next is question now may be raised as to why the Lord appears and disappears in this world. Okay. What is his agenda? Yada yada hi dharmasya. Please repeat.
Yada
यदा
yada
यदा
hi
हि
dharmasya
धर्मस्य
ग्लानिर्भवति भारत
ग्लानिर्भवति भारत
अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य
अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य
तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्.
तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्.
Okay. Who wants to read? Anybody wants to read? Google hand, please. Sadrita Mataji. Yeah.
Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself.
Purport.
The word Srijami is significant herein. Srijami cannot be used in the sense of creation because, according to the previous verse, there is no creation of the Lord's form or body, since all of the forms are eternally existent.
Please
Therefore,
go to the word-to-word translation. Just see what is Srijami. Word-to-word manifest.
Srijami means manifest.
So manifest means manifest. I manifest. It is already there. That's what Prabhupada is explaining. Understood? মানে নতুন করে কিছু না, it's already there. Continue.
Yes. Therefore, Srijami means that Lord manifests himself as he is. Although the Lord appears on schedule, namely at the end of Dwapar Yuga of the 28th millennium of the 7th Manu in one day of Brahma,
Please
he
wait.
has no.
So in one day of Brahma, you can write there are 14 Manus. Please write. Please write. One day of Brahma equals to 14 Manu. So in every day of Brahma, Lord appears on 7th Manu, th Chaturyug, Dwapar Yug. 28 Chaturyugs, Dwapar Yug. So Lord Krishna appears as he is, like Tribhanga Murari Krishna, Brajendranandan Krishna, Golok Vrindavan Krishna appears on the 7th Manu, 20th Chaturyug, Dwapar Yug, end of Dwapar Yug. So one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus. On the 7th Manu, 20th Chaturyug, end of Chaturyug, end of Dwapar Yug, Krishna appears. Continue, please. Yes.
He has no obligations to adhere to such rules and regulations because he is completely free to act in many ways at his will. Therefore, appears by his own will whenever there is a predominance of irreligiosity and a disappearance of true religion. Principles of religion are laid down in Vedas, and any discrepancy in the matter of properly executing the rules of Vedas makes one irreligious. In the Bhagavatam, it is stated that such principles are the laws of the Lord. Only the Lord can manufacture a system of religion. The Vedas are also accepted as originally spoken by Lord Himself to Brahma within his heart. Therefore, the principles of dharma or religion are the direct orders of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. These principles are clearly indicated through the Bhagavad Gita. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of Vedas is to establish such principles under the order of Supreme Lord, and the Lord directly orders at the end of the Gita that the highest principle of religion is to surrender unto Him only and nothing more. The Vedic principles push one towards complete surrender unto Him, and whenever such principles are disturbed by demoniac, the Lord appears.
Hare Krishna. So, Vedic principles push one towards surrender. That's why surrender is given at the end. Now, had that been given at the beginning, people would have left. Slowly, Vedic injunctions, Vedic rules and regulations slowly push you towards that. Continue from the
Bhagavatam, we understand that the Lord Buddha is the incarnation of Krishna who appeared when materialism was rampant and Materialists were using the pretext of authority of the Vedas. Although there are certain restrictive rules and regulations regarding animal sacrifice for particular purposes in Vedas, people of demoniac tendency still took to animal sacrifice without reference to the Vedic principles. Lord Buddha appeared in order to stop this nonsense and to establish the Vedic principles of non-violence. Therefore, each and every avatar or incarnation of the Lord has a particular mission, and they all are described in the revealed scriptures.
Hare Krishna. All understood regarding purpose of Lord Buddha? Please continue. বলুন অঙ্কিতা মাতাজি।
প্রভুজি, আমার একটা প্রশ্ন আছে। এর আগের চ্যাপ্টারে আমি দেখেছি বলেছে যে পশু বলি দেওয়া ধর্মের ক্ষেত্রে নাকি সেটা মানে স্বাস্থ্যসম্মত এবং পশুরা তাহলে পরেই মানে পরের জন্মটাই সে হিউম্যান লাইফ মানে পেয়ে যায় সাথে সাথে। তাই স্বাস্থ্যসম্মত এটা। তাহলে এখানে কেন আবার বলছে যে সেটাকে বন্ধ করার জন্যই বুদ্ধদেব আবার অবতীর্ণ হয়েছিল?
শুধু there was lot of meat eating which was going on, শুধু পশু বলি আর পশুকে হত্যা করে মিট ইটিং। কারণ কি সবাই দেখাতো, দেখুন শাস্ত্রে দেওয়া আছে যে যদি কারোর মাংসাহার করতে হয় তাহলে অমাবস্যার রাত্রে, এগুলো দেওয়া আছে, অমাবস্যার রাত্রে জঙ্গলের মাঝখানে মা কালীকে বলি দিয়ে খেতে হবে।
হ্যাঁ, এটা আমি দেখেছি, এটা পার্বটে লেখা আছে যে যারা মা কালীর পুজো করেন তারা নাকি মাংস ভক্ষণ করার তাদের অধিকার আছে। এবং এটা দেখি অনেকেই বলে যে ভাগবত গীতায় কোথাও লেখা নেই যে ভেজ খেতে হবে। যারা শতগুণে বিষ্ণুর পুজো করছে,
ভাগবত গীতা কোথাও লেখা নেই, কোথায় লেখা তো আছে।
মানে আমি বলছি না, মানে এরকম বলে যারা মেটেরিয়ালিস্টিক লোকেরা এরকম বলে যে কালীর পুজো করা যায় যেখানে মাংস খেতে পারে, তাই এটা শুধুমাত্র বিষ্ণু ভক্ত যারা তারাই শুধুমাত্র মানে খাবে না, মানে এরকম তারা অপপ্রচার করে আর কি, আমি সেটা বলছি।
তো এইভাবে হতো অপপ্রচার, ব্রাহ্মণেরা এইভাবে শাস্ত্রকে ইউজ করে নিজের ইন্দ্রতৃপ্তি করত। তো ওই জন্যই ভগবান বুদ্ধ অবতার নিয়ে এসে বললেন যে এক কাজ করো, বৈদিক শাস্ত্রকে আমরা মানব না। ভাবুন, যে ভগবান ব্যাসদেব রূপে এসে বৈদিক শাস্ত্রের প্রচার করেছেন, সেই ভগবান বুদ্ধদেব রূপে এসে বৈদিক শাস্ত্রকে বলছেন আমরা মানব না। তো পারপোজটা স্থান কাল পরিস্থিতি হিসেবে ভগবান অবতার নিয়েছেন কোন একটি পার্টিকুলার এজেন্ডা করার জন্য। তখন দরকার ছিল শাস্ত্রাঙ্কি লোকের শাস্ত্রের অজুহাত দেখিয়ে লোকে পশু হত্যা করছিল নিজেদের ইন্দ্রতৃপ্তি করার জন্য। ওই জন্য শাস্ত্রটাকে না কভার করা দরকার ছিল। আবার সেই ভগবান পরবর্তীকালে শিবজিকে অর্ডার দেবে, যাও গিয়ে শাস্ত্রটা অনেক ঢেকে গেছে, গিয়ে বলো শাস্ত্রের প্রচার করো, কিন্তু আবার মায়াবাদও প্রচার করো সাথে সাথে। তো এরপর এই ভগবান বুদ্ধদেবের পর ভগবান শিবজিকে আদেশ দেয়, আর শিবজি শঙ্করাচার্য রূপে অবতার নেন আর মায়াবাদ প্রচার করেন। So as per time pace and circumstances ভগবান আসেন। কন্টিনিউ প্লিজ। আচ্ছা, এটা তো বোঝা গেল, এগুলো দিস আর এক্সট্রা থিংস অফ পারপোর্ট। যেমন এই বুদ্ধদেবের ব্যাপারে বলছেন যখন, we can skip, otherwise আবার সেই 8 ঘন্টা বেশি লাগবে। So long purports we have today. We have still sloka number 14, so we can skip এখান থেকে and go on to text number 8. परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतं धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे। So we were discussing about the purpose of Lord's incarnation. Yes, continue.
To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium.
Yuge yuge. Purport.
According to Bhagavad Gita, a sadhu, holy man, is a man in Krishna consciousness. A person may appear to be irreligious, but if he has qualifications of Krishna consciousness wholly and fully, he is to be understood to be a sadhu. A dushkritam applies to those who do not care for Krishna consciousness. Such miscreants or dushkritam are described as foolish and the lowest of mankind, even though they may be decorated with mundane education, whereas a person who is 100% engaged in Krishna consciousness is accepted as a sadhu, even though such a person may be neither learned nor well cultured. As far as the as atheistic are concerned, it is not necessary for the Supreme Lord to appear as he is to destroy them, as he did with the demons Ravana and Kamsa. The Lord has many agents who are quite competent to vanquish demons, but the Lord especially descends to appease his unalloyed devotees who are always harassed by the demoniac. The demons harasses the devotees even though the latter may happen to be his kin. Although Prahlad Maharaj was the son of Hiranyakashipu, he was nonetheless persecuted by his father.
Please.
Although Devaki, the mother of Krishna,
Yeah.
was
One sec. So demons are harassed by the latter, even though they may be kin, relative. Yes, Shivani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Sadar Pranam. Prabhuji, this same line only, I'm having confusion. The demon harasses the devotee even though the latter may happen to be his kin. This line I'm not able to understand.
Yeah, the latter, that is, the devotee happens to be his kin. Kin means relative. So Prahlad Maharaj was relative of Hiranyakashipu. No, he was his son. Continue.
Although Prahlad Maharaj was the son of Hiranyakashipu, he was nonetheless persecuted by his father. Although Devaki, the mother of Krishna, was the sister of Kamsa, she and her husband Vasudeva were persecuted only because Krishna was to be born of them. So, Lord Krishna appeared primarily to deliver Devaki rather than kill Kamsa, but both were performed simultaneously. Therefore, it is said here that to deliver the devotee and vanquish the demon miscreants, the Lord appeared in different incarnations.
But that's it.
Which I
But that's it. That's it. Understood? Any question? So these are the two purposes why actually there's another purpose. Dharma samstam to establish religion. That is the third purpose. But it is more important for him to deliver the devotees than to kill the miscreants. Prabhupada says that killing of the miscreants can be done through his agents, through Maya. है ना? One virus can kill all his miscreants. But to deliver, he comes personally. Any question from this purport? Next, shloka number 9. Janma karmacha me divyam evam yo vitti tatvata bhakta deham punarjanma neti mameti swarjuna. Yes, who wants to read next? Yes, Shalini Mataji.
One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna.
Purport.
The Lord's descendant from his transcendental abode is already
Descent. The Lord
The Lord's descent from his transcendental abode is already explained in the 6th verse. One who can understand the truth of the appearance of the personality of Godhead is already liberated from material bondage, and therefore he returns to the kingdom of God immediately after quitting this present material body. Such liberation of the living entity from material bondage is not at all easy. The impersonalists and the yogis attain liberation only after much trouble and many, many births. Even then, the liberation they achieve, merging into the impersonal Brahmajyoti of the Lord, is only partial, and there is the risk of returning to this material world.
Pause, please.
But
Understood about impersonalist?
प्रभु जी थोड़ा बता देते हैं
क्या नहीं समझा, पहले बता देते हैं.
ये ब्रह्म ज्योति वाला पार्ट.
Brahmajyoti wala part. Okay. So the impersonalists, because they don't believe in the form of the Lord, they believe that Lord is impersonal. So they end up going to Brahmajyoti, merging in the Brahmajyoti. You want to see where Brahmajyoti is there? Please, Sadhita Mataji, share that, that spiritual world and material world quickly. So people who don't believe that Lord has a form, but they are also spiritualist, don't forget. Because Lord's impersonal nature is also true. Lord is impersonal, but Lord is personal also. Lord manifests in three ways: impersonal, Paramatma, and personal form. Clear, na? All are understanding what I'm saying? So if a person is actually worshipping the impersonal form, he is also considered to be a spiritualist. So he also ends up in the spiritual world, but the outer covering of the spiritual world, known as Brahmajyoti. There he stays for a lot of long time, and again comes back to this material world. Dekho, somebody who is worshipping, see, they on the impersonal form, they end up on the white portion of the white portion is a part of the spiritual world, is the spiritual sky, known as Brahmajyoti. You can also share this in the group, Mataji, this photo. Okay. The green portion below that is the material world, and the blue and red portion is spiritual world above. And the topmost, you see, of the spiritual world is a lotus, and inside the lotus, the topmost is Golok Vrindavan. This chart should be thoroughly clear for all devotees. Okay, enough of chart. Now come back to continue, please. But the devotee.
But the devotee, simply by understanding the transcendental nature of the body and activities of the Lord, attains the abode of the Lord after ending this body and does not run the risk of returning to this material world.
Pause, please. So, one who worships the impersonal form, Vishwarup Prabhu, after living for a long time in Brahmajyoti, they have to come back to this material world. But one who worships the personal form of the Lord stays in the spiritual world throughout. Continue, please.
In the Brahma Samhita 5.33, it is stated that the Lord has many, many forms and incarnations. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupam. Although there are many transcendental forms of the Lord, they are still one and the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. One has to understand this fact with conviction, although it is incomprehensible to mundane scholars and empiric philosophers.
Pause, please. Well understood? Understood this point, which is very complex for others? Although there are many transcendental forms of the Lord, they are still one and the same SPOG. Every sentence should be clear. You na bojen jigesh korun. Ar jodi bojen na niye jabo. Okay, let's go on to the next shloka. Shloka number 10. Vitaraga bhaya krodha.
Vitaraga bhaya krodha.
Manmaya mamupasrita.
Manmaya mamupasrita.
Bahavo jnana tapasa.
Bahavo jnana tapasa.
Uta madbhavam agata.
Uta madbhavam agata.
Please continue.
being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me, and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by the knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me.
Please reflect on the translation once again on your own. Take 15 seconds. The Lord is giving testimonial to Arjun. देखिए आगे भी ऐसे हुआ है हाँ? Purport.
As described above, it is very difficult for a person who is too materially affected to understand the personal nature of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Generally, people who are attached to the bodily conception of life are so absorbed in materialism that it is almost impossible for them to understand how the Supreme can be a person. Such materialists cannot even imagine that there is a transcendental body which is imperishable, full of knowledge, and eternally blissful. In the materialistic concept,
Wait. Understood till now? There is a transcendental body which is imperishable. Which body they are referring to? Shubhankar Prabhu?
वो आत्मा
Absolutely. Nobody is asking question. How can body be imperishable? Also, they are referring to the Swarup in the spiritual world. That is imperishable. Everybody has a Swarup in the spiritual world. We know, na? Continue.
in the materialistic concept, the body is perishable, full of ignorance, and completely miserable. Therefore, people in general keep this same bodily idea in mind when they are informed of the personal form of the Lord. For such materialistic men, the form of the gigantic material manifestation is supreme. Consequently, they consider the supreme to be impersonal. And because they are too materially absorbed, the concept of retaining the personality after liberation from matter frightens them. When they are informed that spiritual life is also individual and personal, they become afraid of becoming persons again, and so they naturally prefer a kind of merging into the impersonal void.
Pause. That's why they worship Brahmajyoti. बोलिए शिवानी माता जी.
Prabhuji, this line, they become afraid of becoming persons again.
हाँ.
समझ नहीं आया.
Because see, and because they are too materially absorbed, where is the sound coming from? Because they are too materially absorbed. Just see the line. The concept of retaining the personality after liberation from matter frightens them. When they are informed that the spiritual life is also individual and personal, they become afraid of become person again. And so they naturally prefer a kind of merging into the impersonal void. This is for the impersonalists, Prabhupada is saying. That's why they worship the Brahmajyoti. Again, please reread. Consequently, they consider Supreme to be impersonal. Start from here. In the materialistic concept. Okay, please read from there, Shivani Mataji. Unmute yourself.
It's a material concept. Prabhuji, I'm not getting the. They are too materially absorbed the conception
No,
of
go back,
retaining.
go back 2-3 sentences. In the materialistic concept, the body is.
I'm not getting Prabhuji.
8th line from the purport.
5, 6, 7, 8. In the materialistic concept, the body is perishable, full of ignorance, and completely miserable.
Wait, till now?
Yes, perishable, full of ignorance, completely miserable. Okay. People in general keep this same bodily idea in mind when they are informed of the personal form of the Lord.
So they think that Lord is also perishable, imperishable, full of knowledge, and eternally. Sorry, Lord is also perishable, full of ignorance, and completely miserable. Understood?
Now, understood, Prabhu. Understood. Yeah.
Clear? Continue.
Generally, they compare the living entities to the bubbles of the ocean which merge into the ocean. That is the highest perfection of spiritual existence attainable without individual personality. This is a kind of fearful stage of life, devoid of perfect knowledge of spiritual existence.
Pause. বুঝে গেল তো সবাই? They compare the living entities to be bubble of the ocean which merge into the ocean. That's why they want to merge into the Brahmajyoti. Khatam. Finish. Tata. Bye. But nothing is bye. Nothing is tata. Life is eternal. Soul is eternal. Yeah, continue. This is a kind of
fearful stage of life, devoid of perfect knowledge of spiritual existence.
Pause. So why it is fearful? Because you stay in that Brahmajyoti for millions of years. And that place is nishkriya. Don't forget. Nishkriya means कोई activities नहीं है. चुपचाप बैठे रहो ऐसे बैठे. You enjoy Brahmananda Sukha, which is supposed to be million times more than materialistic Sukha. But there is no activity. Nishkriya. चुपचाप बसे थकते हो. And after a long time, the soul again comes back to the material life. Material माने आवार गुलोके चले आसे. Okay, that is Brahmajyoti, Brahmanand Sukha. Anybody has any question till now regarding Brahmajyoti? So these are extra things Prabhupada is giving in the purport. Sadhvita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Why after a long time? Because there is no activity. That's why they.
Why after a long time?
Desire something.
Spiritual suicide. Brahmajyoti means spiritual suicide. Kintu Lord is merciful, at least फिर से अबर मर्तलोके आसले अंतत अबर भजन कीर्तन करे अबर भगवान धाम फिर जेते पारबे नाले तो तार तो खत्म हो गेल पूरा जिनिसटा
Means okay, they again fall back to material universe.
Material life, they again fall back to Martalok, Bhulok, Prithvilok, whatever you say. And this where we are, Bhulok, is very, very good. You know why? Because there is Pitai and Mithai both. In Bhulok, if you do very sinful activities, you will get Pitai. There is pious activities, you will get Mithai. Correct? By doing this, gradually you will come to the plane of Bhakti. These are prerequisites. লোকে ডাইরেক্টলি কখনো ভক্তিতে আসে না মারধার খেয়ে যখন মায়ার দুকালা সরস্বতম আসতে হবে মারধর খেয়ে যখন ত্রিতাপ ক্লেশ নিয়ে যখন একদম বিরক্ত হয়ে যাবে তিথি বিরক্ত বলে না বাংলায় then they will come to Govinda. That's why Bhagavad Gita says artha jigyasu jnana. There are 4 kinds of men who comes to devotional service. Yeah. Okay.
Furthermore,
well, Brahmajyoti people, they come back to this material life, but people who are devotees, Manindra Prabhu, they go to the Supreme Lord and they stay there eternally. Clear? Brahma Bhunaruka. Clear, Manindra Prabhu? Yeah, continue. Okay, let's go to the next shloka, number 11. Yayatra mam prapaddant, very, very important shlok. This shlok, if it is concept is clear, it will save you a lot. This shloka will do fully. This shloka's concept clearance is very important. Yes, Manindra Prabhu, बोलिए.
इसमें एक क्वेश्चन था मेरे को, जो भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु में 8 बताए गए हैं. भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु, श्रद्धा, साधु संग, भजन क्रिया, अनर्थ निवृत्ति और 4 हो गया निष्ठा. अच्छा प्रभु, निष्ठा रुचि 2 अलग अलग है या एक ही है?
अलग है.
ओके, देन आसक्ति
अलग है.
ओके, देन आसक्ति, भाव, देन प्रेम.
हाँ, बट रिमेंबर जितना आगे बढ़ रहा है उतना इंटेंसिटी बढ़ रहा है.
जी जी
वही वही
जी
फर्क है। निष्ठा रुचि, निष्ठा आ गया, फिर रुचि आ गया, यू स्टार्ट लाइकिंग डिवोशनल सर्विस, देन आसक्ति, तीव्र, और तीव्रता भाव, भाव का और तीव्रता प्रेम, प्रेम में भी बहुत स्टेजेस है, intensity. Okay, so these are extra things given in the purport. Because of lack of time, we are not going through them. Ah. Now shloka number 11.
जी।
Very very important. Ye yatha mam prapaddante
ये
ये
यथा
यथा
मां
प्रपद्यन्ते
प्रपद्यन्ते
tam sathaiva bhajamyaham
तं
Am
सततं
Satyam
प्रभजम्
mama vartuman vartante
मम
मां
वर्तमानं वर्तन्ते
manushya partha sarvasha.
मनुष्य पार्थ
मनुष्य पार्थ
सर्वशः
सर्वशः
Yes, Jai Madhav Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha.
I reward them accordingly. Accordingly word is very very important. ये समाप्त पतंते तब से करना, जैसा करना है वैसे बनना, जैसे सरेंडर वैसे ही रिवॉर्ड. Purport.
Purport.
Yes, Agni Mataji, you want to ask something? Okay, continue, Prabhu.
Everyone is searching for Krishna in the different aspects of his manifestations. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is partially realized in his impersonal Brahmajyoti effulgence. And as the all-pervading supersoul dwelling within everything, including the particles of atoms. But Krishna is fully realized only by his pure devotees. Consequently, Krishna is the object of everyone's realization. And thus, anyone and everyone is satisfied according to one's desire to have him.
Pause, please. बुझा क्या लो? Partial realization and full realization. So Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma is partial realization. Clear? Pratima Mataji, बुझा क्या लो? Okay, continue please.
In the transcendental world also, Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotees in the transcendental attitude, just as the devotee wants him. One devotee may want Krishna as Supreme Master, another as his personal friend, another as his son, and still another as his lover. Krishna rewards all the devotees equally, according to their different intensities of love for him. In the material world, the same reciprocations of feelings are there, and they are equally exchanged by the Lord with the different types of worshippers. The pure devotees, both here and in the transcendental abode, associate with him in person and are able to render personal service to the Lord and thus derive transcendental bliss in his loving service. As for those who are impersonalists and who want to commit spiritual suicide by annihilating the individual existence of the living entity, Krishna helps also by absorbing them into his effulgence.
Pause please. So you see, every arrangement is there. Jaisa, whatever you want, everything is. You want to fall down, fall down. Want to go to Brahma Jyoti, that is also there. You want to be his associate, no problem. Every arrangement Krishna is given. That's why Prabhupada uses the term variegatedness. বৈচিত্রতা বাংলায়, যে যেমন চাইবে সে তেমনই পাবে. রাজীব প্রভু.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, so when we like in Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra, like this, like Mayavadi thing is very prominent in his Pranam Mantra. So Prabhu, I just like think like who gave Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra, like his disciples, like do we know, like
which disciple?
Yeah, like which or which group of disciples, like, because it is so apt, like the Pranam Mantra. That
good question. Good question to find out. My personal opinion, I think no, should not. Anyways, yeah, good question. I have to find out actually who gave. Okay, but is that your question? Who gave or something else?
No, who gave Prabhu? Like, because throughout the Prabhupada purports, like one of the most important thing that I read many times repeated is against this Mayavad or impersonalism.
Yeah, actually, I had a similar opinion earlier. When I joined ISKCON, I loved reading Prabhupada's purport, but I was very much amused. अरे हर एक जगह मायावाद 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 लिख रहा है, इतना कुछ इतना है क्या? इतना है क्या मायावाद? But as days are relaxing, I'm seeing when I'm mixing with so many centers, etc. World is full of mayavad, impersonalism.
Okay.
I myself personally, if anybody used to ask me before coming into Krishna consciousness, who is God? I used to tell them that he is some light, he is some superpower, and I used to never tell them that he is a person. Even if you read the autobiography of Bhakti Swami Guru Maharaj, when he read first time Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, and in the introduction, there it's written clearly, Prabhupada says that Supreme Lord is a person. Immediately, Maharaj said, here is the thing I was looking for. Supreme Lord is a person, and we can reciprocate with him. Adan pradan kar sakte hain. It's just like he has a personality, just like you have a personality, just like I have a personality. He is also having a personality, and it was so crystal clear for him. So that's why when you start being in this movement for a longer time, then you will see others very nicely. I used to have confusion regarding Apu When I started living for a few years in Panihati, that's an outskirt of Calcutta. My goodness, what kind of Apu I saw, I can't tell you. Actually, people who live in cities, they don't come across Aul Baul, Lara Leri, Shoki Bindo, Korta Bhaja. There are 13 kinds of Apu they don't come across. You usually don't find them in here. But when you to Mafarshala Gale, you can come across all these and you can know this is Aul, this is Baul, this is Lara, Leri, Shoki, Brindo, and all these, you can easily distinguish them as BSST did. Yes, Sadhita Mataji.
হরে কৃষ্ণ প্রভুজি, মানে আমার কোয়েশ্চেনটা হচ্ছে যে হিয়ার ইট ইজ রিটেন কি ইম্পার্সোনালিস্ট যারা লাইক ব্রহ্মজ্যোতিতে মানে নিজের ইন্ডিভিজুয়াল এক্সিস্টেন্স রাখতে চায় না, তাদেরকে কৃষ্ণার নিজের এফালজেন্সে অ্যাবজর্ব করে নেয়। তো এফালজেন্স ইজ অনলি ব্রহ্মজ্যোতি, রাইট? So even after absorbing in Krishna's effulgence, which is Brahma Jyoti, they are again after some after a long time they again still fall. Okay. Even after absorbing in Krishna.
It's good they fall, na?
Okay.
Just ask yourself, isn't it good that they fall down? Otherwise, সারা জীবন তো ঘুরতেই থাকতো, চুপচাপ ওখানে ব্রহ্মজ্যোতিতে গিয়ে কোনো কাজ নেই, ভগবানকে সেবা রেসিপ্রোকেশন কিচ্ছু নেই। উনি জানেন যে ভগবান নিরাকার, তো নিরাকার ব্রহ্মজ্যোতিতে গিয়ে চুপচাপ বসে আছে সারা জীবন। It's good that they fall down. At least when they fall down and come to this material world, again they can come across devotees and they have a chance of going back to Godhead. Okay. So ye yatha mam prapadyante. Continue, please.
Such impersonalists do not agree to accept the eternal, blissful personality of Godhead. Consequently, they cannot relish the bliss of transcendental personal service to the Lord, having extinguished their individuality. Some of them who are not firmly situated even in the personal existence, impersonal existence, return to this material field to exhibit their dominant desires for activities. They are not admitted into the spiritual planets, but they are again given a chance to act on the material planets.
For those, they are given another chance. ওই spiritual planet থাকার চেয়ে এখানে material planet থাকা ভালো. It's better to stay in this material world than to stay in the Brahmajyoti of the spiritual planet. Yeah, continue.
Spiritual, but they are again given a chance to act on the material planets. For those who are
They are
for
admitted
those
into the spiritual planet, but they are again given a chance to act on
who
this
act in the
material. For those, yeah.
material plane. For those who are fruity workers, the Lord awards the desired results of their prescribed duties as the Yagneshwara. And those who are yogis seeking mystic
Understood.
powers,
Understood. Those who are fruity workers, कर्म फल से संतुष्ट रहो. Those who are yogis, ब्रह्म
such powers. In other words, everyone is dependent for
those who are yogis, take these siddhis, अष्टसिद्धि लो. यम नियम प्राणायाम आसन ध्यान धारणा ये सब अष्टसिद्धि ले लो. अनिमा लगिमा गरिमा ये सब अष्टसिद्धि लेके खुश रहो. ये यथा माम प्रपद्यन्ते. Karmis want fruitive activities. Yogis want siddhis because they like to show others siddhis and they want to gain popularity. तो जैसे जो चाहेगा वैसे ही वो भगवान दे देगा. ये तमाम प्रपद्यन्ते, जो जैसा जैसा चाहता है तम तथन में भजामि हम. मैं उसी तरह से उन लोग को रिवॉर्ड देता हूँ. ज्ञानीज वांट टू शो देयर नॉलेज. हाँ ठीक है, टेक अष्ट सिद्धि.
In other words, everyone is dependent for success upon his mercy alone, and all kinds of spiritual processes are but different degrees of success on the same path. Unless, therefore, one comes to the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, all attempts remain imperfect, as is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
सर्व कामो वा मोक्ष कामो दारधि तीव्रेण भक्ति योगेन यजेता पुरुषं परम.
Whether one is without desire, the condition of the devotees, or is desirous of all fruitive results, or is after liberation, one should with all efforts try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead for complete perfection, culminating in Krishna consciousness.
Anybody has any question in this particular shloka? Next, shloka number 12. Kangshanta karmanam siddhim
Karmanam siddhim
yajanta iha devata क्षिप्रम ही मानुषे लोके सिद्धिर्भवति कर्मजा. Okay, I'm reading. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Clear till now? Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive works in this world. फटाफट result भी मिल जाता है. Somebody worship, फटाफट मिल जाता है demigods. Lord is very happy. He's asking for something, छोटा-छोटा चीज चाहिए उनको, दे दो. देवता इंद्र दे दो, वरुण दे दो उनको, दे दो. There is great misconception about the gods or demigods of this material world, and men of less intelligence, although passing as great scholars, take these demigods to be various forms of Supreme Lord. Actually, the demigods are not different forms of God, but they are God's different part and parcels, just like you and me. God is one, and the part and parcels are many. The Vedas say Nitya Nityanam, God is one. Ishvara Parama Krishna, the Supreme God is one, Krishna. And the demigods are delegated with powers to manage this material world. These demigods are all living entities, Nityanam, with different grades of material power. They cannot be equal to the Supreme Lord, Narayana, Vishnu or Krishna. Anyone who thinks that God and the demigods are on the same level is called an atheist or Pashondi. Even the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva cannot be compared to the Supreme Lord. In fact, the Lord is worshipped by demigods such as Brahma and Shiva. Shiva Virinchi Nutam. Yet, curiously enough, there are many human leaders who are worshipped by foolish men under the misunderstanding of anthropomorphism or zoomorphism. Foolish men are worshipped under the misunderstanding of these two. You can Google what are these. Iha Devata denotes a powerful man or demigod of this material world. But Narayana, Vishnu, or Krishna, SPOG, does not belong to this material world. He is above or transcendental to the material creation. Any question till now? Even Sripad Sankaracharya, the leader of the impersonalists, maintains that Narayana or Krishna is beyond this material creation. However, foolish people, Ritagyana, worship the demigods because they want immediate results. Now, when you come to Krishna and ask for something, he immediately will not give you what you want. The most common example we quote is Pitaji and Mamaji. Now, Mamaji comes once in a year, and Bhanja, he takes out Bhanja, let's go for a walk. Bhanja says, Mamaji, please give me chocolate, ye le lo. Mamaji, please give me ice cream, ye le lo. And also puchka, ye le lo. All also sandesh, ye le lo. Jo mangta de deta Mamaji, because Mamaji also thinks I come once in a year. I want to be in good books of Bhanja. Bhanja will tell everybody, I like this Mamaji very much. He's the best of Mamajis. De do, de do. But the same son, same child, when he goes out with his father, Papa, I need fuchka. नहीं एकदम नहीं पेट खराब हो जाएगा बाहर का रास्ता का नहीं है पापा एटलीस्ट च्युइंगम दे दो बबल गम नहीं ऑलरेडी तुम्हारा दांत एक में पोका है नहीं मिलेगा अच्छा पापा एटलीस्ट गिव मी अ संदेश ठीक है ये खा सकते हो so father knows what is best for his child so even the child demands he will not give anything and anything so just like them similar is condition of demigods so if you please them they will also please you so that they are in good books of yours and फंसे रहो यहाँ अच्छा से
दुनिया की नजर में मामा जी अच्छे हैं
दुनिया की नजर में हाँ बिकॉज दे वांट इमीडिएट रिजल्ट हाँ नजदीकी फायदा देखता है दूर का नुकसान नहीं देखता है श्लोका नंबर 12 हो गया नाउ 13 ना चतुर्वर्ण्यम मया सृष्टम गुणा कर्म विभागशः तस्य कर्तरम् अपि मां विद्याकर्तरम् अव्ययम् So next two shlokas, number 13 and 14, very, very theoretical, very, very, so you have to give 100% attention to understand them. Please mute yourself, Fatima Mataji. According to the three modes of material nature and work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. Mute, and although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. तो ये चार वर्ण क्या क्या है चतुर्वर्णम ब्राह्मण क्षत्रिय वैश्य and शूद्र. The Lord is the creator of everything. Everything is born of him. Everything is sustained by him, and everything after annihilation rests on him. Please প্রত্যেক সেন্টেন্স মন দিয়ে শুনুন কোনো কিছু না বুঝতে পারলে বলুন. He is therefore the creator of the four divisions of the social order, beginning with the intelligent class of men, technically called Brahmanas, due to their being situated in the mode of goodness. Next is the administrative class, technically called the Kshatriyas, due to their being situated in the mode of passion. The mercantile class, called the Vaishyas, are situated in the mixed mode of passion and ignorance. And the Shudras, the labor class, are situated in the ignorant mode of material nature. In spite of his creating the four divisions of human society, Lord Krishna does not belong to any of these divisions because yes, Raji Prabhu.
So, Prabhu, here when Prabhupada mentions intelligent class as the like Brahmana equivalent to intelligent class. So in material sense, like we see people like Elon Musk and Bill Gates,
Continue.
Like they will come under intelligent class?
Not at all. They're businessmen, mercantile. Intelligence means material intelligence. Brahmanas means Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. One knows the Supreme Lord, he is supposed to be Brahmana. So Elon Musk, I don't know much, I mean, about him other than that, he's a great businessman. If he's personally a great philosophist or spiritualist, if he has good knowledge about spiritual, about
Here, like when Prabhupada is saying intelligent class of men, so
material, obviously spiritual intelligent.
okay.
Obviously, because Brahmana means Brahmajaniti iti Brahmana, one who knows the Lord. In spite of his creating the four divisions of human society, Lord Krishna does not belong to any of these divisions because he is not one of the conditioned souls, a section of whom form human society. Human society is similar to any other animal society, but to elevate man from the animal status, the above mentioned divisions are created by the Lord for the systematic development of Krishna consciousness. So very important. ये चार वर्ण में रहकर, this is like a platform where the plane can take off. Remember, I gave the example the other day. Runaway is very much important. Otherwise, plane cannot take off like helicopter from ground zero. The tendency of a particular man towards work is determined by the modes of material nature, which he has acquired. Acquired word is very important. Such symptoms of life, according to different modes of material nature, are described in each chapter of this book. A person in Krishna consciousness, however, is above even the Brahmanas. Although Brahmanas by quality are supposed to know about the Brahman, the supreme absolute truth, most of them approach only the impersonal Brahman manifestation of Lord Krishna, which is also known as Brahmajyoti. But a man who transcends the limited knowledge of a Brahmana and reaches to the knowledge of SPOG, Lord Sri Krishna, becomes a person in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, a Vaishnava. So, K borrow, Brahman borrow, na Vaishnava borrow. Obviously, Vaishnava. Because Brahmanas also include impersonalists. Clear? Any question till now from the purport? Krishna consciousness includes knowledge of all different plenary expansions of Krishna, namely Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, etc. And as Krishna is transcendental to this system of the four divisions of human society, a personal Krishna consciousness is also transcendental to all divisions of human society, whether we consider the divisions of community, nation, or species. Eta budget mein last portion. Vaishnava is also transcendental to all the divisions. इसीलिए महाप्रभु बताते हैं ना हम वैश्यो ना गृहस्थो ना वनप्रस्थ ना शूद्रो गोपी भर्तोर पद कमलोर दास दास अनुदास. Any question, Abhishek Prabhu, from this purport? Shivani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, this last word, why Prabhupada is referring to species?
Okay. A person in Krishna consciousness is also transcendental to all divisions of human society, whether we consider the divisions of community, nation, or species. And as Krishna is transcendental to this system of four divisions of human society, a person in Krishna consciousness is also transcendental to all divisions of society, whether we consider the divisions of community, nations is transcendental, or species. A person in Krishna consciousness is also transcendental to all species. Divisions of society is clear. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra is transcendental to nations also. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, कोई भी कहीं भी जन्म ले. And to all species. To think. Maybe, yes, continue.
Maybe Prabhuji, that shloka is there, no? Pandita Samadarshina, like Shunichaiva Swapakacha, that
is he is Sunichaiva Pandita Samadarshina, that is equal to all. Yet transcendental to all species. Yes, Rajiv Prabhu.
I had a different question to like.
Ask.
So, like few lines ago, we were reading like the nature, like the modes of nature acquired. Like somebody acquires the mode of nature by association with that mode of nature.
Association, guna, karma, his work, tendencies, everything. Yeah.
And like in particular, if we take food as example,
Yes.
and let's say like I have not seen some food was offered to Lord or not, but I was like given that food, and I am thinking that as prasad, but it is not actually offered. So I'll not be able to distinguish whether it is by taste, whether it is prasad or non-prasad.
No,
So I am taking it as prasad.
I got your question. But actually, devotees can distinguish.
Actually, once when like in 2017,
Actually,
group.
devotees can distinguish. Devotees can easily tell ये भोग लगा ही नहीं है. Devotees have that ability.
So this.
Yes, they have that ability. बोल देगा. हो सकता है चार्मियम वाला है यार, लेकिन वो भोग नहीं बोलेगा. कौन बनाया ये प्रसाद? Because Mahaprabhu, once I'll tell you the extent of the possibilities. Once Mahaprabhu was offered bhoga and कुछ rice कम पड़ गया था. Then Mahaprabhu sent one of his devotee, please go and bring some rice. So that devotee was Chota Haridas. He went to Shikhi Maiti's house and his sister gave rice. So that rice was given to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu ate that rice and then asked, ये rice कौन लाया? Then devotees said, rice kam par gaya tha, then I sent this person Chota Haridas to Sikkim Maiti and then Mahaprabhu told, please tell Chota Haridas not to join our group from tomorrow. The devotee said, why? Mahaprabhu, why? I am telling you, don't let him join our group from tomorrow. And the devotees went to Chota Haridas and told him, Mahaprabhu told not to come. Please don't join our group from tomorrow. Chota Haridas did not protest. उसको समझ में आ गया. हाँ. But he kept on requesting, please Mahaprabhu को बोलो, क्षमा, forgive me, please. Mahaprabhu said, no, I'm not forgiving this person. Later, Chota Haridas committed suicide. You know why? All this happened because when that rice was taken from Sikhi Maiti's sister, Chota Haridas gave some negative drishti on her. And that rice was taken, just a bowl taken from her. And Mahaprabhu could understand that this rice is contaminated. So devotees actually can understand whether this prasad is actually prasad or it is just vegetarian food. That's why there is another shloka in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Vishwairanno khaila muline hoye mon, muline mon hoile na hoye Krishnero sharan. If some Vishay means if some materialistic person is giving you prasad, ওইটা খেলেও কিন্তু মলিন মনে নোংরা জলের মন. কেন? কারণ কি বিষয়ের অন্ন খেলে মলিন হয় মন, আর মলিন মন হইলে না হয় কৃষ্ণেশ্বর. Okay. इसीलिए there is another shloka in Chaitanya Charitamrita. इति ध्याय शिष्णोदर परायण कृष्ण नहीं पाए. जे कृष्ण
जीवेर लालसाय इति ध्याय.
जिह्वार लालसाय जे एति ध्याय शिष्ण उदर परायण कृष्ण नहीं पाए. जिह्वा लालसा जो इति ध्याय इधर उधर खाता है, वेजिटेरियन खाता है, लेकिन यहाँ हुआ खाता है, वो कभी कृष्ण कॉन्शियसनेस में नहीं आ पाएगा, बिकॉज इट इज नॉट ऑफर्ड टू द लॉर्ड. That's why Krishna conscious prasad, the English term for prasad, you know what? The English translation prasad, it is called sanctified food. The English translation word for prasadam is sanctified food. Sanctified মানে বোঝেন কি? ফুডের থেকে কন্টামিনেশন নিয়ে নেওয়া হয়েছে. That's why it is sanctified. তো দেখলে মনে হবে এটা চারনিয়ম वाला প্রসাদ. What is দিলা? ভগবান দৃষ্টি দিয়েছে, ভগবান ভোগ করেছেন. ওইজন্য চৈতন্য চরিতামৃতে 28 শ্লোক আছে. এই স্বাদ কৃষ্ণ আস্বাদ দিল. এই যে শাকটা খাচ্ছি, এই শাকটা সৎস্বরূপ স্বরূপ দামোদর বলছে এখনই কৃষ্ণ আস্বাদ দিল. একটু আগে ভগবান শ্রীকৃষ্ণ পেয়েছেন এটা. আমরা এখন পাচ্ছি এটা। ইয়েস, শুভঙ্কর প্রভু।
প্রভু এই লাইনটা দেখে আমার একটু মনে বলে এসেছে, আমি বলতে পারি কি প্রভু?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, বলুন না।
তো বলছে এখানে কৃষ্ণ ভাবনার মৃত্যু ব্যক্তি সে সবসময় দিব্য থাকবে। আমার মনে হয় যে দিব্য থাকবে, স্পিসিস বলছে মানে যে গাছ হোক কি পাখি হোক গোলক বৃন্দাবনে, সে দিব্য থাকবে।